in this experiment, we're going to look at solutions, especially solubility and density of solutions and electrolytes as well. But anyway, so a solution is a mixture that is homogeneous on the particle level. In other words, down to the atoms and molecules. Be able to distinguish a solute and a solvent. The solute is what's being dissolved, and the solvent is what it is being dissolved in. For example, if you have salt water, salt is the solute and the solvent is water. Solubility is the maximum amount of a substance that can be dissolved in a given solvent under the conditions. Solubility can vary, especially with temperatures, what we'll see, but anyway, so there are limits to how much salt can be dissolved in water or other substances as well. A saturated solution is when you dissolve as much as possible for the conditions. In other words, when you add salt to water in lab, you'll add salt and keep adding salt and stir until no more will dissolve. And so when no more dissolves, we say that that solution is saturated. That's all that can fit and be stable. A supersaturated solution is where somehow you've played a trick and you've gotten more to dissolve than is stable. And the trick that we usually will do or talk about as common is that if you dissolve, like say, sugar in water when the water is really hot, you'll get more to dissolve because solubility increases with temperature for solid solutes. Anyway, so when it's hot, you can get a lot of sugar to dissolve, but if you take that hot sugar water and you cool it in your fridge, it's no longer stable with that much sugar dissolved, and so the sugar will come out in crystals. So you can't get a supersaturated solution by just stirring. That's a good thing to know. Okay, an electrolyte, that's a compound that when it's dissolved in water produces ions, and so it will conduct a current. So to conduct a current, you need ions. That's the key, charged particles, because electricity is the movement of a charge, and so having ions produces that. So compounds sometimes ionize when you put them in water. Sodium chloride, table salt, is one that does. It breaks apart into ions. Let's put a water there. And those ions allow it to conduct an electric current. So we would say that sodium chloride is an electrolyte, or we would call these electrolytes. So a non-electrolyte is something that when it dissolves in water does not produce ions, and so that's the key. No ions form when it's dissolved in water, and so this is like sucrose, maybe. It could be different sugars actually, but we'll say it's sucrose. And when we put it in water, so it's AQ, it's dissolved, but there are no ions there, so it's a non-electrolyte.